Sunday morning. This is going to be a real quick video so I can get my betting records on record so I can count it. Obviously, didn't get all the videos and all that stuff up that I wanted to this week, but whatever, it is what it is. Just real quick. So, okay. Starting Patriots, Jets. I feel okay about the Patriots winning that game. Weekly about the Patriots covering a spread of 6 and the under 43. You're still talking about two rookie quarterbacks in their second games. There's just nowhere near enough certainty to really be putting money on. I do think the Patriots are in a much better position roster-wise, hence why I think they're going to win. But 6 is just too big of a number, to be honest with you. Denver, Jacksonville. I feel very, very strongly the Broncos are going to win that game as well. I do think they're going to cover the spread, also 6, but not as sure about that. And then I have the under of 45, but I feel weakly about that one. So for that, I mean, Broncos are just so much better. There's so many things about their defense specifically that is going to give Jacksonville issues. And while the Jaguars were better in Week 1 than I think people realize because of the final score against the Texans, that was boosted by some garbage time shit in the second half. A couple really bad interceptions, but mostly it was just really bad drops from the Jaguars offense because frankly in the first half they could put up a lot more points, and there are really reasons to be encouraged about Trevor Lawrence actually after that game. It's not amazing, but it's at least there. So that's that one. That's one of the ones I've bet on for sure. Buffalo, Miami. I feel very strongly about the Bills minus 3.5 and the Bills to win. Weekly about the over 47.5. Dolphins depend defensively on their corners being good enough to shut down the receivers of the opposing team, allowing them to do all that goofy shit that they do with their front seven. Bills are too good for that. Stephon Diggs, way too good for that. Xavier Howard, I am a huge fan of, but it doesn't matter when you have a player as good as Stephon Diggs. Emmanuel Sanders is for real. He clearly still has it after Week 1. Gabe Davis, if he plays, Cole Beasley, it's just too much. And there's a reason the Bills blew the fuck out of the Dolphins at the end of last year, and they beat them twice. And it's really comfortable, repeatable reasons. And frankly, offensively, Tua is going to kind of fall into the Bills' trap where they're going to dare them to throw short. He's going to throw short. It's not going to end up going very far or very well. So I feel real good about that one. Next one, San Francisco and the Eagles. I feel really good about the over 49. In that one, I also do think the 49ers are going to win. They're favored by 3 on the road. And listen, with the 49ers, fully healthy as they are right now, outside of running backs who nobody cares about, they're really dependent and really predictable based on the strength of the opposing linebackers that they play, and the Eagles linebackers are still not good. They're better than they were last year, to be sure. It's now Eric Wilson and TJ Edwards are likely going to, they're the two most relevant ones. Those guys are better than what the Eagles dealt with before, but they're nowhere near what's good enough or required to beat the 49ers and or play with the 49ers defensively. They're just going to get ran around a lot. The 49ers are so good about exploiting that type of mismatch. George Kittle is going to fucking smoke them. And while the Eagles do have a good front four, it's not elite the way that it was a couple of years ago, and the rest of their run defending is just going to get really bad, and the 49ers are really explosive with that stuff. And on the other side of the ball, frankly, the Eagles are going to be able to score too. The 49ers dealing with a bunch of injuries. No Dre Greenlaw, no Jason Verrett, no Emmanuel Mosley likely, maybe not Javon Kinlaw. A bunch of really important players. The 49ers are going to be, the Eagles are going to be able to move the ball on the ground pretty comfortably, and not a quite the explosive manner that the 49ers will, but it's there. And Jalen Hurts, well, I'm not crazy about him in this game. He's going to be really comfortable most of the time, and there's a lot of reasons to think both these teams are going to be able to score really comfortably. So I like that a lot. Rams at Colts. Once again, I feel really strongly about the Rams winning this game. The Rams to cover the spread -4 as well, though that's not quite as strong. And over 48 for the over-under. Yeah, listen, the Rams are just way better. And there's a lot of, again, repeatable, super encouraging things about their Week 1 game with the Bears. Now, the Bears' defense is not all that special or good. But when you look at what this Colts defense is right now with injuries, it's kind of in the same boat where they don't have a meaningful pass rush. They're down Xavier Rhodes, so their corners are not good. Their safeties are both their starting safeties are questionable, and even if they do play, they're not good enough to keep up with high octane offense like this. We literally saw that last week with the Seahawks, who do with their new offense a lot of things that the Rams do, and it was pretty easy for them as I expected to be here for the Rams as well. And also defensively, Colts probably are going to start Julian Davenport again, who's one of these players that, like, when he's on the field, it's kind of not impossible to win, but you make things really hard on yourself. I think he's the worst tackle in football, and that showed in week one where he was getting literally smoked like every play. So that's tough. I feel really good about the Rams with that. Not quite as strong with the 4 just because it's still a little unclear. I'm not completely ready to say, oh, the Rams offense works perfectly every time, that type of thing, but I feel pretty good about it. Next, Raiders at Steelers. So this game I don't feel strongly about, but I do think the Steelers -6 is bettable as well as the Steelers, of course, winning the game. For the over-under, I have under 46.5. With this one, it's kind of tough because from the Raiders' perspective, which is I think the more important side for this bet at least, you're really determining things based on if Darren Waller is going to be effective or not. Darren Waller is really good and really useful, but he is not this like monster separator that is going to be open and useful every single matchup and of every single team. And what I mean by that is, if the other team has a safety linebacker is willing to put a corner on him that is good enough to limit what he does, it can really affect the rest of the Raiders' offense. With the Steelers, I'm just not sure what that looks like. They play such a unique style of defense as opposed to everybody else that focuses a lot on zone in the middle of the field, and so they do have the athletes with Devin Bush and Minka Fitzpatrick specifically to keep up with Darren Waller. I don't know if they will ask them to do that, and that makes me really kind of trepidatious about what I would put on this game as far as that goes. And frankly, the other side of the ball too, the Steelers looked better last week than they did last year for sure, and I do like things about their offense that are pretty repeatable, but their offensive line is still kind of a question mark, and the Raiders are not nearly as bad in the secondary as they were at times. So 6 points is a lot, basically, is the point for a team that could be pretty functional offensively. I'm just not sure about it. Next one, Cincinnati at Chicago. I love the Bengals in this game. They're +1.5 right now, as well as I think they're going to just straight up win the game. And over under 44.5. I don't feel strongly about that. I would take the over, but listen, dude, the Bengals offense, right? So just to get this out of the way, yeah, the Vikings were way better than the Bengals were in week 1, but there were encouraging, and the Bengals do come away with the end because it just really kind of horrible Vikings discipline. They 150 penalty yards as well as one of the worst calls you're ever going to see. Whatever, that's not the point. It's over now. What was positive about it, though, was specifically the talents of the Bengals wide receivers shown through, and something I didn't give them enough credit for was this. They went from so horribly bad on the offensive line to just kind of bad. And that is a massive, massive difference. And then that really actually matters in this game specifically because the Bears still depend on this front 3, front 5 to generate pressure. But when you look at them, even compared to the Vikings, they're not really better at this point given the injuries they have. It's old-ass Akeem Hicks. It's Khalil Mack. He's still good, obviously, but he's him and Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter's better, but whatever. They're fairly similar, comparable players. And overall, it's kind of a similar look, but then you combine that with one of the worst secondaries in the league, kind of. They have really good players. Jalen Johnson, I really like. Eddie Jackson, I love. Not Kareem Jackson. Sean Gibson is still kind of whatever. But there are other starting guys, whoever their slot, another number 2 corner is, whether it's Kendall Vildor, Duke Shelley, Marquis Christian, are all actively bad. And that, of course, is enough to make your secondary really bad because you can't cover up stuff like that in the NFL. Not when there's 2 of them, especially. So that's tough against a Bengals team that does have 3 capable receivers and has at least improved enough offensive line for Joe Burrow to not get fucking crushed every single play. And defensively, too, frankly. The Bears are just bad on offense most of the time. They're still going to be able to function a little bit. I don't think they're screwed in this game or anything, but I do like the Bengals quite a bit in this game. So then Browns at Texans. I love the Browns. I think they're going to be, by the end of the year, the best team in the AFC. And I don't think the Texans are good. But I'll tell you, in this game specifically, I actually don't feel strongly about the Browns winning this game And I definitely don't feel strongly about the spread. So actually, I would take the over on 48 is the over under number. But I would probably lightly take the Texans plus 13.5. Listen, 13.5 is a lot. The Browns are missing Odell Beckham Jr. And while they're going to be able to run the ball very, very well and very consistently, we've seen this Browns team from last year, especially, not be all that amazing about it. Jedrick Wills might not play their starting left tackle, and if it's not him, then you're talking about a rookie, like a fourth round rookie in James Hudson, probably. J.C. Treader, their center, is also questionable. He's probably going to play, but like there are real issues with that. And again, without Odell Beckham Jr., how explosive is a passing offense going to be? It's still going to be good. You're still playing a bad Texans defense that is starting Vernon Hargreaves, who, wow. But that doesn't get you all that far, especially for a team that's going to run the ball with over this many attempts. And frankly, defensively, while the Browns are good and are going to be very good in a lot of matchups, here with Tyrod Taylor, he consistently takes short throws, makes things really boring and really easy. And it's not like the Texans are horribly offensively coached. Brandon Cooks is still a good player. Like, there are things in this game that kind of point to the Texans being marginally successful, at least still early in the season. I don't like. I'm not going to bet on it. I'm just saying that for a 13.5 point favorite, I'm just less confident in this one than I am in other ones. I still love the Browns and everything, but so then Carolina Saints. I didn't get to that game yet. That's whatever. I'm just skipping it. Vikings Cardinals, same thing. Falcons Buccaneers. This one I do feel confident about. The Buccaneers are going to fucking smoke the Falcons. They're so much better. Falcons are maybe the worst team in the NFL at this point. That's not true, but they're pretty damn close. And listen, the Buccaneers are gonna be able to run the ball so easily the way that the Eagles did last week. That generates a lot from how good the Eagles' offensive line was. Well, Buccaneers is very comparable in a lot of ways, and they're gonna just fucking kill them up front consistently, as well as being able to take advantage of a secondary that plays Eric Harris and Isaiah Oliver, two really bad players, with obviously really good receivers that the Buccaneers are famed for. And defensively, listen, it's kind of as bad. Calvin Ridley's really good and everything, but you're basically asking him and rookie Kyle Pitts to take on the world in a lot of ways here, and it's tough. Matt Ryan doesn't really deal with pressure well. There will be pressure in this game, that type of thing. It gets ugly. Now, 12.5 is still a lot of points in an NFL game. We saw last year that despite the Falcons being bad then, too, they would have covered that spread twice towards the end of the year. So I do have to give them credit for that. And you're still talking about Matt Ryan. The Buccaneers are missing Sean Murphy-Bunting, starting corner. Carlton Davis is questionable for this game. And like I said, 12.5 is just a lot of points for a team that is playing Matt Ryan. It's a divisional game, that type of thing. I'm still comfortable with it, though. And over-under 51.5. I would take the under. But I feel not strongly about that at all. Tennessee, Seattle, last one I skipped. So then the only other early Sunday game is Dallas and the Chargers. This is super interesting. I love this game, just football-wise. Betting-wise, I don't see really value here. Although you are looking at two really similar, or teams in really similar spots, actually. So the over-under set at 55. That's crazy high. Actually, I would still probably bet the over, as I'll kind of talk about in a second. But that is really, really high, so I wouldn't actually put money on it. But then it's just simple. Cowboys get 3 on the road, or Chargers favorite 3 at home, whatever. I would actually end up being on the Cowboys side of that, just because I think there's basically a 50-50 shot that they win this game, and obviously the team that getting the points is a better bet than the team that's not. But yeah, why is that? Well, so both teams are missing their starting right tackles. Cowboys, Collins suspended, Brian Bulaga for the Chargers on IR. Both of them are putting in way less than capable backups. Difference here, though, is Terrence Steele, the guy who's coming in for the Cowboys. He's not that bad. He's not good or anything, but he got blamed way too much for some of the Cowboys' offensive struggles last year when he combined with Andy Dalton, the bad players around him, that type of shit. Whereas on the Chargers side, Storm Norton, who's probably going to come in at right, he is that bad. He is really, 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 really horrible, and that's an issue. Now, Chargers do have Joey Bosa, who is going to kill Terrence Steele, to be clear. I'm not going to trip about that. And the Cowboys missing both Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence for this game, meaning that they're not going to be able to take advantage of matchup they're given in the same way, but I think it kind of evens out where it's a better player versus a better player versus a worse player versus worse player in a lot of ways. And they're both dependent on two receivers at this point, being Keenan Allen and Mike Williams for the Chargers, and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, but there are good enough pieces around them to still be useful. Jalen Guyton, Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Josh Palmer. So they can both do work offensively. Both these defenses, as constructed, given the injuries around them, are actually not very good. Chargers have could be way better. I think they're going to get better as the year goes on, but as of now, the problem is their corners are just not good enough to hang with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb at all. Michael Davis I do like. Sante Samuel I think is going to be pretty good, but not right now. So that's tough. And I think they're two teams in really similar positions with two really good quarterbacks that are going to be able to move the ball up and down the field pretty consistently. And in a game like that, I'll take the team that's getting points. So that's just so I can get all these games on record before I take a nap before the game starts. I've been up for a while. But, so that's week 2 betting preview.